quicker, or if they run faster than the first heat, if the 10th athlete here comes home inside 13:24, we will get all 5 non-automatic qualifiers from this one. There's Jethro St. Fleur from Aruba. Abdallah of Sudan, he's only 20 years of age. And Kankum, African Championship bronze medalist. Ebenyo, African silver medalist. Third in Eugene here in the Diamond League with 13:10. Mark Scott of Great Britain, world indoor bronze. An area record holder. 12:57 indoors. Jacob Kropp, just behind Kim Korea in that Rome Diamond League.
From the United States of America, William Kincaid.
Woody Kincaid, national champion over the 10,000 last year, attends the University of Portland. Endo, double national champion. Livala made the final last year and was 6th in Stockholm. Mabratu, just off the podium in the World Youth a couple of years ago. Mohamed Ahmed, silver medalist in the Olympics last year, Canada's first in the men's 5,000. Got a bronze in Doha, he's in excellent form this year. Mukhtar Idris is a defending champion. He won the title in London as well. 7th in that Rome Diamond League. He has gone inside 13 this year. Qujelcha is an incredible talent. World indoor champion twice. World indoor record holder over the mile. This is a man with a point to prove. The Olympic 1500 metre champion got the silver here over 3 3/4 laps, and he was devastated. Matthew Ramsden, World Junior finalist a few years ago and an Oceanian champion. Chivate of Thailand, second from the outside, and Marcella, 5 times a national champion, including over the half marathon. He's run 60 minutes on the nose. So great stamina for the tiny South African on the extreme left of picture. Ahmed of Canada, Edris of Ethiopia, Qujelcha Ethiopia, Ingebrigtsen of Norway, and Kropp of Kenya, possibly along with Mark Scott of Great Britain, will be the names to feature. 5 in this one have gone inside 13 minutes this season. But as I mentioned, if it's fast, there's a possibility we could get all 5 non-automatic qualifiers for the final in this heat. So a possible 10 out of 21, as long as they make sure it's fast, which at the moment, Gail Divas, they don't really look like they're doing. This is another absolute dawdle through the first 200 metres of their 12.5 laps.
So would you expect Ingebrigtsen to stay in the back or to move to the middle, towards the middle of the race? What's your take on that?
He won't be interested in what's going on at the front at the moment. He is yet to go sub-13 in 2022. He's a brilliant talent. He just didn't quite have enough against Whiteman, but knowing what a born winner he is, he'll be really, really smarting that he didn't take that title and add the world crown to his Olympic gold. The same thing happened to him indoors, although there was a more understandable reason for that, because back in March he finished second in the world indoors, talking about the Norwegian who's just at the very top of your picture on the left there in last place. But then he went home and tested positive for COVID a couple of days later. I think he was shocked that Whiteman went past him and then quite justifiably took the inside line, and I think it threw him mentally and began to sow a few seeds of doubt. And let's not forget, Whiteman didn't coast round, he ran 3:29 plus bids.
Yes.
It was a brilliant time and an inspired piece of tactical running. So to answer your question, Ingebrigtsen won't be interested in his pace whatsoever. If somebody half decent like Ahmed goes to the front and tries to split the pack, then you'll see Ingebrigtsen coming up on the outside and paying attention. I don't think it's a massive injection of pace yet from Ahmed, but at least he is beginning to show some signs as he motions for those coming up on his inside and outside, and it's Jacob Kropp who was second in that Rome Diamond League coming up on his outside. Woody Kincaid of America now comes through on the inside. It's only if somebody starts to really go that Ingebrigtsen will say, oh, okay, I don't mind giving away 20 metres, but I don't want to give away 50, and I am now going to move through the centre of the pack. But this is very, very slow and cautious here for this world-class group of men.
And I do know that Mark Scott and Woody Kincaid and Ahmed all trained together here in Portland. So when he was telling someone to come forward, I'm sure it was Kincaid, like, I've already taken the lead, now you go ahead and take it on this next couple laps.
And Kincaid is leading. Well, that little group, there's a little bit of a gap back towards the likes of Matty Ramsden, fourth from the back on the left of picture. He's got the tiny South African Michelle just behind him now. And Ingebrigtsen will have a look. The athletes do have the advantage of this massive screen they can look at. I mean, the facilities here are just breathtaking. So Ingebrigtsen will have had a little look. We'll know exactly who's leading. Woody Kincaid. And now the Olympic 1500 metre champion is just beginning to pick off a couple of back markers because there's a tiny little gap beginning to open up towards the back of a big lead group. There goes Ingebrigtsen through onto the shoulder of Matt Ramsden, who's trying to hang on to the Eritrean Mukuratu, who was just off the podium in the World Juniors a couple of years ago, just closing in and making sure he is paying attention. At some stage soon, someone is going to turn this into an honest pace because they will want to get as many of the 5 non-automatic qualifiers through from this heat rather than gift those spots to those who've already done their race at the first.
Looks like they switched back to Ahmed taking the lead, and I do know that those 3 in the front also trained with Grant Fisher, and it seems like strategy-wise, maybe they're trying to do what he did, and we saw he came through in second place.
Yeah, there's good quality up there at the front, isn't there? With the likes of Krop. Ahmed now just running side by side with Mark Scott. Ibenyo, African silver medalist in Mauritius earlier this year. He's got a lovely long stride. Carson with the long hair coming wide on the outside. He's like a throwback to the 70s, the great New Zealand middle and long distance runners. Dixon Quacks, John Walker, the New Zealander. The Kiwi's flowing locks as he runs just behind Grivalia. Grivalia, by the way, is the first Central American to make an Olympic final. He was 12th in the 5,000 metres. The Guatemalan, he's in the middle of the pack. Oh, in fact, no, he's not. He's decided to go to the front. 6th in Stockholm with a half-decent 7:38 in the 3,000 metres. He's got a 3:35 PB at the 15. And now the Guatemalan has thought, right, okay, look, enough's enough. I'm not sure I've got enough for the top 5. So I'm going to make this an honest pace, and I'm going to give myself the best possible chance of making it through to the final, as I did in Tokyo 12 months ago.
And that's great strategy, like you're saying. You don't know where you're going to be, but if I go out and nobody comes with me, hey, I've got a great shot of being in that top 5. And he's opening the gap, actually.
Good positive running here. I like to see this. The race not panning out as he would have expected or as he would have hoped would play to his hands. So he says, right, okay, come on. Let's take it to them. A little sheen of sweat on the shoulder of Jakob Ingebrigtsen, who moves past the Japanese runner and he's now tucked in behind Matthew Ramsden. He's not panicking yet, Ingebrigtsen, but he does need to sort of start thinking about closing that gap. There's a really, really talented group who are not interested in closing down on Grivala at the moment. But Ingebrigtsen just on the extreme left of picture, great work by the camera crew just to give us that wider shot so we can see where the Olympic 1500 metre champion is in relation to that big group. He is closing in now, and it's Grivala of Guatemala leading at the moment, and now Ingebrigtsen attaches himself to the back of that group with Hatu of Eritrea just in front of him. Ramsden third from the right-hand side. The Aussie just needs to work a little bit here and try and close that gap and follow Ingebrigtsen. He's got a short stride, the Guatemalan, running on his toes, but it was effective enough to get him into the Olympic final for a moment of Central American history last year. And it's good enough to see him off the front here by about 15 metres. But Ibenyo now, the African silver medalist in Mauritius, who was third here in the Diamond League, he's now decided, OK, look, enough's enough. Let's give chase here and close down the Guatemalan. Coming round now with 5 to go, so he's got a fair old gap at the front here, but Ibenyo has decided enough's enough, and Jacob Kropp is in third with Ahmed in fourth, and Ingebrigtsen slowly and surely working his way through that group, just ahead of the flowing locks of Hamish Carson of New Zealand, who set a PB of 13.17 in Spain back in May. Now Ibenyo's closed the gap, so we have Guatemala 1, Kenya 2 and 3. Ahmed's looking good for Canada, and perhaps Ravala's heroics just beginning to become undone. He's hanging on OK at the moment to the back of Ibenyo, as Kropp now has the Central American athlete just in front of him, with Ahmed in fourth. Ingebrigtsen is slowly and surely working his way back towards that group. The little cue tells you that Carson on the left of picture is in a non-automatic spot at the moment, as they come round with 4 to go.
It's amazing to watch Ingebrigtsen, because as he is slowly, like you say, it looks like he's just, slowly as steady as she goes. Let me just get there. By the time we get to that bell lap, I'm going to be in position to where I need to be. And I think Ibenyo is saying, I'm going to open it up a little bit and see if you can handle this.
Well, in fact, Mark Scott of Great Britain, that is a group of 10. And they'll be hoping, well, certainly Mark Scott on the extreme right of picture, as we look at Ibenyo leading with Grivalia, hanging on really well in second place. That was the 10, and they'll be hoping that we do get the full complement of 5 non-automatic qualifiers from this one. It needs the 10th athlete to be quicker than 13.24, which they most certainly are. So that's the 10. Ibenyo coming round now, having a little look over his shoulder with 3 to go. Ibenyo leading, Grivalia in second, Kropp in third, now coming up onto the Central American athlete's shoulder. Ingebrigtsen looking OK here. Perhaps he is feeling a little bit tired, and perhaps he's also producing a very clever piece of racing, with trying to limit the amount of energy he has to use up in a very, very warm, sticky evening in the stadium.
Yes, he's in 7th place now, coming around, and he is still moving forward. We've got Ibenyo is still leading, with Kropp in 2nd place. And now we've got Ahmed has moved up into 3rd. It's winding down.
This is good running by Ibenyo. He's got a lovely flowing stride to watch. Ibenyo and Kropp, top 5, remember, but we've got 5 non-automatic qualifiers, and then the loping presence of Qujelcha. I've been watching him for so many years. I first saw him at the Youth Olympics in Nanjing in 14, and you could tell then he was going to be absolutely brilliant. Qujelcha's in 3rd, Ahmed 4th, Grivalia 5th, now with Ingebrigtsen, who has worked his way through the field quite masterfully, actually. He really has. Idris is having to work quite hard. He's in no man's land with the German and Mark Scott of Great Britain trying to close him down. Remember, we could get 10 through from this one if they come home inside 13.24. Coming round now to take the bell. Now there is not much need for these guys to burn each other off. We've got 6 with only 5 automatic spots. 12.14. This is looking good for this group of 6. Idris is not in the kind of form that took him to the title in Doha in London. but he's running okay at the moment. 6 here, and they should all be okay. Krop and Kjeldsen with Ingebrigtsen. Slowly and surely, the Norwegian has worked his way back into this automatic spot, and that's excellent running. Krop is the second fastest man in the world this year. Gravale running well in front of Ibenyo. Hey, look at Ingebrigtsen. They're all, look at that. Ingebrigtsen and Gravale are saying, come on, I want to hear you. Wow. Jacob Krop coming round now. Ingebrigtsen and Gravale waving to the crowd in second and third. Kjeldsen will be there, so too will Ibenyo and Ahmed. Idris will make it, and so too Mark Scott. So we did get a big group through from this second heat. Well, that was funny down the home straight, wasn't it? Both Ingebrigtsen and Gravale saying, yeah, come on, we want to hear you.
And the crowd actually responded and brought them home. But I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
Well, maybe just getting rid of a little bit of the frustration from finishing second in the 15. But he worked his way through really beautifully there, Jakob Ingebrigtsen. And he looked very comfortable in the end. And I'm really pleased that Jacob Krop, we've got Kjeldsen through there. Excellent running. Kjeldsen was 3:14. I think Mark Scott was okay, just. What a good run from Gravale. He made history for Central America, you know, last year. They were all delighted to see him through to that final. He grabbed that race by the scruff of the neck and said, right, come on, let's get on with it. I want to make the final.
He did, and he held on. He ran a great race. Like you say, he has an interesting short stride. So now you see, so actually Ingebrigtsen started at like 1:20 to go, getting the crowd involved. He's not even running straight. He's running to the side, running to the crowd.
Good to see Gravale getting involved in that as well. There was a bit of a dip on the line between Ahmed and Ibenyo, but they didn't need to.
I love it.
I wasn't sure whether he was having a bit of fun there, or whether he felt that there wasn't enough noise from the World Championship watching crowd. But anyway, he's
relaxed.
Yeah, and he always gives you something to talk about. He's doing it again. Come on. Yeah. I might have lost the 15. I'm into the final of the 5, and I'm desperate for this title. Come on, I want to hear you. This is the World Championship, for goodness sake. Really good running by Krop. That effort between him and his teammate Kip Career in the Rome Diamond League was brilliant. It was one of the best races I've seen this season. Both of them knocking chunks out of each other and coming home inside 12:47. Krop taking it then. Ingebrigtsen, the silver medalist from the 1500 metres. Gravale making his second consecutive global final. Kjeldsen, Ahmed, Ibenyo, Idris and Scott will also be there. Really enjoyed those heats of the 5,000, and we will really enjoy the two climactic moments of the evening. The women's 200 final, followed by the men's. We've got about an hour to go. If it's the middle of the night where you are, I promise you